Rob Bonta, the Attorney General, he's not pursuing fraud and corruption in California because he's right in the thick of it. His own career now enmeshed in a corruption scandal. This is what you get after 16 years of one-party rule. Corruption, complacency, fraud on an epic scale. I said when the Minnesota scandal first erupted at the end of last year, however bad the corruption and fraud is in Tim Walz's Minnesota, you can be sure it's 1,000 times worse in Gavin Newsom's California. With my colleague on the golden ticket for California, Herb Morgan, last year we set up a fraud line, califraud.com, to get tips from people about what they are seeing inside our state government. And here's our initial estimate of the scale of the fraud in California, at least $250 billion, and it's going up all the time. So today, we are announcing our plan to do something about it. We are announcing the California Department of Government Efficiency. And here it is. The California Department of Government Efficiency. Why do we need CalDOGE? We need CalDOGE because Gavin Newsom and the Democrat machine in California are stealing our money. It is our money. It is our tax money. And it is going, billions of dollars of it, into fraud and corruption and waste and government bureaucracy and bloat. No more. We are going to put a stop to it. That is what CalDOGE will do. We will stop the fraud. We will stop the corruption. We will protect taxpayer money. Right now in California, we pay the highest taxes in the country and we get the worst results. That's because of the fraud and the corruption and the bureaucracy and the bloat. That is what's going to end. That's why we need the California Department of Government Efficiency. And I'm proud to say that I'm here today with an incredibly strong, qualified team of people who are going to help us fight the fraud and the corruption even before I'm elected governor. I'm here with my colleagues on the golden ticket for California, Gloria Romero running for lieutenant governor, Michael Gates running for attorney general. He will go after the fraud and the corruption, unlike the useless attorney general we have now. Herb Morgan, of course, running for state controller, who will actually make sure we audit all this spending. And the new team for the California Department of Government Efficiency, we are starting today. We're not waiting to get into government. We are doing the work, and the people behind me are going to be leading that effort, and you're going to hear from them one by one today. I now want to hand over to my friend and colleague running for lieutenant governor of California, Gloria Romero.
Just give me your name again.
Steve Hilton, running for governor of California.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, and good morning. I'm Gloria Romero. As Steve mentioned, I'm running for lieutenant governor because California deserves a government that works and answers honestly as to how it spends our money. Too often in Sacramento, success, yeah, it's measured, but you know what? It's measured by how much is spent, not by what actually gets fixed. But in 2026, as Steve has said, the golden ticket is standing before you today, and we are challenging that status quo. We stand for results, accountability, and common sense. Steve and I started out as the golden ticket, governor, lieutenant governor, working together. And soon enough, Steve said, we're going to need a bigger ticket. So that's what we have, the attorney general and the controller. All of us together, we have never been afraid to challenge the status quo. And I served as the Senate Majority Leader in California. I saw that accountability doesn't happen on its own. If no one asks the hard questions, failure gets rewarded and the people get ignored. The Lieutenant Governor's office is often treated as ceremonial. It's a place where machine politicians, they go to wait to fail up into the governorship one day. Well, I reject that. Leadership isn't ceremonial. It's not ribbon cutting. Leadership is oversight. The reality is that even with the most recent revelation that some $23 million of our taxpayer dollars that was meant for homelessness was diverted and spent abundantly on luxury items and mansions. This was uncovered in 2024. Well, what happened? It sat there in a report on bureaucrats' desks. And if it wasn't for the U.S. Attorney, Bill Essayli, nothing would have ever happened. We wouldn't have known about it even. One party rule has created a culture where failure is tolerated, cover up is the practice, and accountability is optional. When programs fail, Sacramento's instinct right away is spend more, extend the timelines, and hire a PR firm to help the guilty, sweep the fraud under the rug. No more with the golden ticket. Accountability requires guts and backbone. And this golden ticket, we have plentiful guts and backbone. And so that's why Steve, on behalf of the golden ticket, has announced the CalDOGE, the California Department of Government Efficiency. It brings the backbone that California needs, a real scrutiny to where our state government is wasting our money. And we need it now more than ever. Taxpayers, quite frankly, deserve a simple answer. Show me the money. Where did it go? And when we don't get what was promised to us, like a train that has gone nowhere, or nonprofit organizations that are supposed to be feeding the homeless and giving them ramen while they're buying mansions, basically then the golden ticket is not only going to find out where the fraud went and the money, but we're going to start asking what criminal statutes apply here. CalDOGE is needed now. Californians deserve nothing less. The golden ticket, this is the new Powerball. We are the new Mega Millions. We are the golden ticket for California, and the days of lack of accountability is gone. It is my honor now to introduce the other member, one of our other members of the golden ticket on this growing ticket. He will be the Attorney General for the state of California, Michael Gates. And the most important thing to remember, the Attorney General should be the voice of the people of the state of California, not the special interests. Michael Gates brings that voice to the golden ticket. Michael?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gloria, Steve, Herb, and the rest of the team. As Steve mentioned and Gloria mentioned, my name is Michael Gates, and I am candidate for California Attorney General. When the people elect us to office, and when I am your Attorney General, we will fight crime with seriousness, diligence, and effectiveness, which heretofore the current Attorney General, Rob Bonta, has not done. We need to look no further than the recent claims of massive fraud in healthcare, daycare, hospice care, and the homeless industry right here in California. And why does it take a state auditor to report that the state cannot account for over $70 billion of our tax money, with 24 billion unaccounted for dedicated to solving the homeless problem, while homeless has never been higher in California? Where has the Attorney General been all of this time? He has been nowhere to be found on these issues. Let's be clear, Bonta has not lifted a finger to investigate and find where your hard-earned tax dollars have gone. The billions of tax dollars entrusted to Governor Newsom and the state by hard-working people of California, all now lost and gone, with nothing from our Attorney General Bonta. While Californians struggle to make ends meet in the state of the highest taxes, the highest gas prices, the highest crime, and the highest homelessness, the Sacramento elites, like Attorney General Rob Bonta and Governor Newsom, simply shrug their shoulders and deny their fiduciary duties to the taxpayers. And on their watch, they have lost billions of our hard-earned money. When I'm Attorney General, on day one, I will work with local U.S. attorney's offices, our local district attorney's offices, our sheriff's departments, and other local authorities to prosecute the state's corruption, fraud, and abuse. And let me be clear, I'm not talking about investigations that go on for years. I'm talking about investigations that are judicious and swift so that criminals are dealt justice and wrongdoers are punished. And because these wrongdoers have ripped off California taxpayers by the tens of billions, there will be no leniency in the justice brought to them. We want handcuffs, not hand slaps. We will bring accountability to wrongdoers and accountability back to Sacramento. This is why we, the new leaders of Sacramento, owe hardworking, everyday Californians. That is precisely what our criminal laws and our justice system is designed to do. And this is precisely what is not being done by our current Attorney General. Make no mistake, there will be no endless investigations and report writing. We will immediately bring criminals who have been stealing from taxpayers to justice. We will prosecute. I want to thank the team, the Golden Ticket. I want to thank Steve and Gloria for that great introduction. And now I want to turn it over to candidate for controller.
Thank you, everybody. I am Herb Morgan. I am the candidate for California State Controller, and we are standing here today in front of the Los Angeles office of the State Controller for one reason. You've heard today why we are launching CalDOJ. In a moment, Jenny Rae LaRue will walk you through the structure that we are putting in place and how it will operate. But before she does, I want to remind you, California is a compassionate state. And the members of the Golden Ticket, led by my friend Steve Hilton, are compassionate people. We support funding homelessness services, healthcare, education, social programs, because we believe people should not be abandoned. And these government programs are programs of compassion that we pay for. They're being looted. They're being looted by criminals who treat public money as easy prey. They're enabled by a system that places compliant, unqualified people into positions of power precisely because they don't ask the kind of questions that I will be asking. Now, I ask you to just please listen very carefully to one thing. I want to be very clear about the legal authority we have here. Nothing we are announcing today is missing from the law. The authority to prevent theft has always existed, which leaves an unavoidable conclusion. The job has simply not been done. The state controller is the only constitutional officer in California with complete access to the books and records, every dollar in, every dollar out, not just state agencies, county records, city records, non-governmental organizations that too often operate as unaccountable middlemen and outright scams. The authority that this office has is sweeping, but it carries a significant responsibility. When that authority is not used, fraud flourishes. Current State Controller Malia Cohen is 100% responsible for finding the fraud. She remains feckless and incapable. Malia Cohen's incompetence was exposed Friday in Los Angeles. Federal authorities, with a big lift from the LA City Controller Ken Mejia, announced arrests in major homelessness fraud scheme. Tens of millions of dollars stolen from programs meant for the mentally ill, the addicted, homeless mothers with children, people with no leverage, no lawyers, and no ability to fight back. It didn't require new laws or new authority. It required leadership and people capable and willing to act. Malia Cohen's controller's office did not surface this fraud. Attorney General Rob Bonta did not prosecute this fraud, and the governor specifically publicly denied any responsibility. So the federal government has been doing their job. We want to thank U.S. Attorney Bill Essayli. That failure is the reason we are launching California DOJ ahead of taking office. We're not inventing power. We're activating power that already exists in this office. When I and my colleagues are elected, CalDOJ will be fully incorporated into the state controller's office. It will be a permanent operating function. At a high level, it will do two things, and Jenny will cover those, the structure in greater detail, but it will enforce accountability. And second, it will recognize how government delivers services, and that's where my plan comes in. My plan is called Radical Transparency. What it means is we are going to modernize California's financial systems. We're going to deliver transaction level reporting, not just consolidated annual reports, not summaries, not press releases. Every transaction, every transfer, every contract, every grant to a nonprofit published online and continuously reviewed. We are going to employ advanced AI oversight. We are already working with a partner, Redder.ai, to launch a California fraud forensic platform. We will detect patterns of abuse. We will draw clear connections between those who award contracts and those that receive them. This is neither rhetoric or hyperbole. We have the technology. It exists today. We can do this. It is preventative, and it is a great enforcement structure. CalDOJ will find the crime. My Radical Transparency plan will reduce the opportunity to commit the next one. And let me close with this. Leadership means ownership. When I'm your state controller, I'm going to take responsibility for all of these system failures, and I will correct them. The office will no longer look away. When money disappears, we will follow it. When the system fails, I will own it, and I will fix it. With that, I want to turn it over to Jenny Rae LaRue, who will walk you through the structure that makes all of this real. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Rae LaRue, and I'm the director of CalDOJ. Thank you to Steve Hilton and the Golden Ticket for the opportunity to lead this tremendous organization, which will make substantial change, not just post-election, but beginning today. Today is day one of financial accountability in California. CalDOJ actually began as an idea and an effort 1 year ago this week. After the election and the instatement of Elon Musk into the federal government, I said, hey, the next biggest task in America is California. We should get to work on this. So with over 30 analysts, we began to do the extraordinary work that is necessary to bring accountability for every dollar from top to bottom that is spent in California's budget. And we will do this in two primary ways. The functions of this organization are beginning now, not later. And the first is to investigate through a special investigations division cases of fraud, waste, and abuse for our dollars that are being spent right now. Dollars that have been spent and dollars that are flying out the door of Sacramento today. In addition, we have a structural change piece of our organization. Right now, California has over 240 agencies. Other states, like Texas, have under 100. New York has 97. There is no reason that the state of California should have such extraordinary administrative capabilities that these organizations are able to create rules and fees that create pressure and cost and slow down growth and opportunity in our state. And so we won't just fix fraud that has already happened. We will reduce the culture of fraud that is institutionalized by blowing up the patterns inside the organization that have allowed it to occur unrestricted. And we will restrict those future pieces through transparency, like Herb talked about, through arrests, like Michael talked about, through accountability, like Gloria talked about, and through leadership, like Steve discussed. Our organization has a strong advisory board supported by the federal government, state legislators, public and private investigators, and people that are going to work with us to investigate this fraud. And again, it's a very exciting volunteer effort right now. We will bring to you and to people with authority to make arrests right now, but we will also bring an action plan that is clear, organized, focused, and simple so that our promise for transparency can be upheld. As someone who is excited to lead this organization, I have done this for over 25 years for organizations that I advised, first as a consultant at Bain & Company, and then finally businesses that I have purchased on my own. Businesses that I operate in California are subject to these crazy regulations, and we have an opportunity to make a generational shift in the way that the money flows in our state to benefit Californians instead of harming them. And with that, I'm excited to introduce one of my colleagues on the team who is leading special investigations, Amy Reichert. Amy.
Thank you. Thank you. When it comes to fraud, California is the place you ought to be. If Minnesota is just the tip of the iceberg, then California is the tsunami that is coming straight for Gavin Newsom. But the problem is it's Californians who are drowning in the cost of living and taxes. And so it's not a conspiracy theory. We saw during COVID how $32 billion went to fraudsters overseas claiming EDD benefits. Even people in prison were getting EDD benefits. Enough is enough. I'm a state licensed private investigator leading a team of investigators. We are going to be diving into public records. We're going to be diving into corporate records and the shell games that the homeless industrial complex plays. But best of all, California, we're here and we're going to doge California.
Oh, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, everyone. What a great team, and there's many more behind us, and it will be a growing team. We invite everyone watching to help us make this state what it should be. The place where you can run a business, raise your family without all the nonsense and the taxes and the burdens of the ridiculous, bloated bureaucracy and the fraud that goes with that. That's the aim of CalDOJ, and the work starts today. Thank you very much. Questions? Unifying here. Unity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, any questions?
Where are you going to start? Which department are you going to go look into first?
So we've already started, and as Jenny mentioned, we've already got a long list of agencies to investigate. Amy's been doing this in her work with the maybe you want to speak to that a little bit with childcare, the homeless industrial complex. I mean, that is a huge area. You're already seeing it, and of course, the point that we make here is, at the moment, nobody in California government seems to care about any of this. It's only the federal action that we're seeing. For example, through what Bill Asaley's doing, the U.S. Attorney. That's going to change. We're going to look at homelessness because that's a huge amount of spending. We've already been highlighting some of those stories, but we're going to look right throughout the government. We're getting tips all the time. Califraud.com. Tell us what you know. Tell us where we need to look. So this is right across the board. We've got to save this. You know, they've doubled the budget of the state of California pretty much in the last 5 years. Is everything better? Is everything twice as good? No, it's worse. They take more and more, we get less and less. And the reason is what we're going to be fighting here with California DOJ. Fraud, corruption, the waste, the endless burdens of bureaucracy, the duplication, state agencies, regional agencies, counties, local. We've got government bloat coming out of our ears in California. We're going to put an end to it.
Mayor Romero, are there any Democrats running for governor and lieutenant governor who will do what you will do?
Not one. Sadly, I served in Sacramento. I've seen it. Today's one-party rule in Sacramento, they are like ostriches. Their heads are buried in the sand. Steve Hilton, Michael Gates, Herb Morgan, myself, Gloria Romero, we formed the golden ticket to say no more. And the thing is, Steve, the people are aware of this. They know what's going on. They have that gut instinct. We know something is wrong, not in Denmark, here. But they want to have the opportunity to vote differently, to bring change to California. So we are excited, whether one is Republican or independent or Republican or Democrat or not even registered yet, they are ready to vote. And the golden ticket presents the opportunity.
So hang on, just want to ask, Jenny had something to say about the.
Yeah, the first question was, where do we start? So let me tell you where we started originally. Right now, as Steve mentioned, the only enforcement action that is happening is from the federal side. And so because California's budget includes both California dollars dollars that are collected here in California and dollars that are collected from all over America. This is an American issue. The federal government has taken on that responsibility. And so our first task is to look at dollars that are flow through from the federal government. And I will give you one example as a beginning. When we talk about CalFresh or the SNAP benefits, the EBT benefits that flow through the state, we have early estimates that in California we lose $4 a minute, which amounts to millions of dollars a year through fraudulent spend on those CalFresh cards. And there are other states that have very simply put into effect geofencing, where you can't use these when you're out of state or where there's an extra piece of technology that will check it. We don't do that in California. We lose more money than any other state, and those are federal dollars. So if you're watching from Virginia or New York or Georgia, those are your dollars that are being wasted in California, being spent by people who are not supposed to be spending them. And so because of the federal action and because of the magnitude of those dollars that are being spent, those are some of our key early considerations.
And if I just want to say one thing and ask her to amplify it. The other thing that's really going to be exposed here by the work that we're all going to do is the basic business model of the Democrat machine, the corruption that we've seen, which is this recycling of taxpayer money into this absolute army of non-profits, slush funds for their political activity. We're hearing stories about this every single day. Just the other day, from Ventura County, state money going to the county, then being recycled to non-profits that are out there doxing ICE agents and promoting gender transitions for kids. Political organizations, leftist political non-profits using our taxpayer money. A whole network of non-profits and NGOs is going to be exposed by all of this. Did you want to?
Sure. I think there's a lot of low-lying fruit for CalDOJ. I think on a percentage basis, the homeless industrial complex is going to represent the biggest find for us. We have instances and arrests now of people getting a building under contract, supposedly for the homeless, receiving grants, double flipping that building to make $16 million in profit. The other area of extreme low-lying fruit is Medi-Cal. Here in California, we estimate the loss over the last 5 years. My work suggests we're over $100 billion. This is ineligible recipients. This is fraudulent coding. Even their own audit suggests about a 10% error rate. We have the question of whether or not federal dollars have been commingled with state dollars to provide healthcare benefits to people not legally entitled to them. Look, we are people of compassion.
how Sacramento works, or rather doesn't work. Why not? Better than any of us, because she spent years there. She was the leader of the president's, as we've often said.
Working families and especially mothers and fathers who are looking, trusting that these child care centers are set up to receive our children. And Amy has quite an interesting story. Maybe Amy, you can talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Ghost daycares. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of the California Department of Social Services, the Child Care Licensing Division, and that's all under Gavin Newsom. Inspectors, they arrive unannounced in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week, and they are finding daycares where there are 15 kids enrolled, 21 kids enrolled, 28 kids enrolled, but there are 0 kids present. And we know that billions of dollars flows into California to support these daycares in order for parents who desperately need it to have free or reduced care. And so my investigation has now gone to the next level with Public Records Act requests to follow the money. So stay tuned.
We're watching with horror the scenes unfolding in Minnesota, particularly Minneapolis, great American city, descending into crime, chaos, and lawlessness. And Michael Gates and I, who's running with me for Attorney General here in California, we made it clear we will not accept this here in California. It will not happen on our watch, because there's something very clear. These scenes are happening where? Not everywhere across America. Immigration enforcement is happening everywhere. Crime and the chaos and the lawlessness and now the tragic death are happening in sanctuary cities, in sanctuary states. It's in places where you don't get the cooperation of between federal law enforcement and state and local law enforcement. And worse than the lack of cooperation, you've got politicians like Tim Walz and that idiot mayor in Minneapolis actively encouraging people to impede the work, obstruct the work of law enforcement. They are the ones putting people in danger. They are the ones putting people's lives at risk. It's absolutely reckless and irresponsible. I beg Democrat leaders here in California, across the country, stop with the inflammatory rhetoric. Stop inciting people to get in the way of law enforcement. This is America. We believe in the rule of law. We need to enforce the law. And as Michael and I have made clear, when I'm governor, when Michael Gates is Attorney General, here in California, all laws will be peacefully enforced.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. This is an issue for weight. Sanctuary policies, they get people killed. There are people who have died recently in encounters and conflicts with ICE that would be alive today but for sanctuary policies. I don't think the general public understands exactly how the sanctuary policies work. For instance, the Obama administration deported millions of criminals, and they did it by working with local officials and going to local jails and apprehending those who were in those jails pursuant to ICE detainers, apprehending them and deporting them. done in a safe and well-controlled manner. But because of the sanctuary policies, local jails, local police, and local sheriffs are not allowed to hold these individuals, these criminals, for the feds. So they release them into the streets. So where we had federal immigration enforcement under the Obama administration, to the tune of millions of people deported, safely done in jails, under the control of the authorities. Now it's being done in the streets in front of grandma's house. And we have clashes with citizens, and then, as Steve mentioned, we've got the local authorities, including the local leaders, stoking the crowds, stoking the people to go out and fight back. It's the sanctuary policy in the first place that put the federal enforcement out on the streets in front of grandma's house. But for that sanctuary policy, it would be done safely in jails, and people would still be alive today. That's the difference.
Gloria, if I can add on this too, as a woman, I want every rapist rounded up. I don't care what their citizenship status is. Take them off the street. As a mother, I don't want pedophiles anywhere near my children. I don't care what their immigration status is. As somebody who has supported Mothers Against Drunk Driving in the past, nobody gets behind the wheel of a vehicle drunk, intoxicated, should take the lives of too many of our children and then just walk away because it's a sanctuary city and state. That is wrong. The law is the law. Finally, let me just say that if you take a look at the people, the men and women who are sworn to protect the law under ICE, 40%, if not more, are of Latino Hispanic heritage. They go out there doing the job that are on the books. They should never be vilified as being Gestapo and Nazis. That is unbelievable that American citizens, men and women, largely of Latino descent, would be called the most vile names because they are doing the law. If Congress and the Democrats don't like the law, go change it. But the Democrats won't do it because they know this is an 80-20 issue. The people of California want us to take out rapists, pedophiles, anybody who assaults us, driving the big rigs or driving the cars. Enough is enough. And when Michael is the Attorney General, Steve is the governor, I'm the Lieutenant Governor, Herb is the controller, it's going to be a golden day and a safe day in California once again.
Thank you, everyone. Let's wrap it up then. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Jenny?
Good job.
Okay, very nice.
Okay.